It's very moody. Oh, so moody. So here's the deal. This apartment that I moved into a couple months ago now is really cute. It's a lovely little place, but it is terribly white and blank and colorless. And I need color in my life. I need it the way ducks need water and sharks need Shark Week. That's not true. No one needs Shark Week. Arguably, sharks need more people who like them and who think they're soft and sweet and good and just a part of the ecosystem. I'm rambling. I need color the way sharks need water. There we go. I need color the way the beetles need love. I need color the way the cat needs to smack your face at 2 a.m. to say, hey, I'm here. Do you want to play right now? Oh, speaking of, hello. I had a hard time getting my landlord to let me just paint the walls the current color you see here, this nice, lovely, warm white. When you don't have another option, you gotta think outside the box for how you're gonna get color into your life. And I think the way I'm going to do that is with some banners. Clearly, she's not gonna give me any color. She's literally black, which is just a value. Or maybe it's valueless. Because banners are big, they're fabric, and they cover a lot of space easily. You can do a lot of them. They can be expensive, they can be cheap. I've done a couple options here, and hopefully this will work out. Well, we'll see. We got to get into it. So first off, I went to the fabric store and I grabbed a few different options. I got about 1.5 yards of gold felt. I got 1 yard of rusty orangey red twill, and then I went to the thrift store and I grabbed a green pashmina because I wasn't seeing anything at the fabric store that wasn't like $20 a yard or more for a good green. We're gonna have trouble, I think, keeping it stable, so what I'll do is I will add just some extra scrap fabric I have lying around as a functional stabilizing layer. That way it's gonna give it some more structure when we work with it. So, let's do it. Initially, I wanted to do 3 banners, thus the gold felt and this metal ribbon design. But when I saw how big I'd made the 2 banners in real life, I decided to stick with just the 2. I chose whimsical and practical as my ideals to represent. I opted for 3 jackalopes in a motif chasing each other and a hand holding a pair of scissors to represent the 2 ideals. Plus, I kinda just thought they looked cool. In my research for these banners, I found that I was using them for very similar reasons to the banners and tapestries used in castles. In the book Tapestry in the Renaissance, Art and Magnificence, Thomas P. Campbell and Marion Wynne Ainsworth say that tapestries and luxury textiles provided warmth, comfort, and decoration. For me, it's about decoration and the comfort of not hearing your neighbors as much. And them not hearing me. I started by laying out my fabrics and cutting a basic banner shape using an angled ruler. I swear so much of this project was just spent futzing with paint and fabric. It goes like that sometimes, I guess. By the way, this gingham is my backing fabric for the green banner. Okay, so day 2. The goal today is to do a larger pattern for the jackalope design and get those cut out, as well as the general shapes of the scissors and the hand holding them. I'm hoping that if I cut it out first, there won't be too much warping, and then I can paint everything. I was thinking I could just paint directly onto the banners. Just painting some fabric, it can look good, but I'd rather just do a little bit more. I think it's really gonna add to it and make it feel a little bit more dimensional, finished, polished, like a piece of decor rather than an arts and crafts project at school. That way we can sew it on, make it pop. It'll be good. Next, I measured how much space I had for creating decorations on each banner. Okay, so for this, I've measured here, and essentially to have like 5-ish inches of like breathing room, we're gonna want something with an 18-inch diameter. That's gonna dip us down a little bit into here, but not, it's gonna give us a good circle of jackalopes, essentially. Divided by 2 is enough. And that's gonna be our center. The circle doesn't need to be perfect because we're basically using it to see what it's gonna be divided by 3. This would be easier. This would be a lot easier with a smaller ruler. Okay, so we've kind of got a decent circle. Ish. Again, it doesn't really need to be perfect because we're just getting an idea, and it's not like, you know, rabbits are not orbs. Hares are not orbs. Jackalopes are not orbs. We're just like getting an idea of size and then using this so that we can shape out the idea of it. So this is essentially the bounding box we can work in. Next, we divide that by 3. Oh, radiuses. Oh, math. Legend says she did a whole bunch of mathing and futzing around, only to give up and eyeball a peace sign shape that kinda worked. Drawing mode, activate. All right, so we finally have a pattern. Now, in theory, if I cut this out and cut 3 of these bad boys in felt, we should get a circle of jackalopes. Done, I'm gonna go and real quick trace off and cut out like a bajillion letters. I'll see you in a minute. Ow! I need water. I forgot that. Okay, hold on. Let me go get a mug. Here we go. Here we go. Okay, so I have spent many an hour cutting out many a shape. That was a lot. It is day 3 now. Not gonna lie, I thought this was gonna be like a 1, maybe 2 day project, but doesn't life just find a way? So I think the goal right now is gonna be, first off, to get all the letters a nice dark brown. I don't actually have a nice dark brown, so I think we're gonna have to use some color theory and ingenuity and just praying a little bit to mix a color to get all of my letters a nice uniform, warm, dark brown. And then we can really go in on the jackalopes, their ears, and my hand holding scissors. I'm excited to get into it. Let's do it. Safety first. Always use protection. Color theory tells us we should probably start with, okay, Okay, red, yellow, and blue generally make brown. But is it a shortcut if we just use orange? Because orange is red and yellow like together, right? I'm gonna say yes, and we're just gonna do it. And if it doesn't work out, I've wasted some dollar store paint. Oh, and now we mix. Who will be my victim today? No, not you, X-Acto knife. This one looks nice and mixy. Okay. Okay, we're getting somewhere. It's a pretty light brown though. Let's continue on this path, I think. For that to dry, I teleported to the hardware store and grabbed a couple dowels. It's day 4 of this 1 to 2 day long project. I have learned some things. Mainly, if you are painting felt, just know that you've got to saturate it if you want the brush strokes to blend or look whole or good at all. And that means you will be waiting for a lot of paint to dry. So, just take that into account if you're ever working with felt. You learn these things the hard way. But I think today will go a lot faster because now we have everything painted, all of the stuff. So now it's just a little bit of pen and other pen work. And then we're gonna glue these bad boys on, we're gonna sew the banners up, and we're gonna hopefully get them on the wall. Hopefully. I think we can do it. I believe in us. First things first, we gotta get drawing. Basically, as you can see, I think the jackalopes turned out really nice, but the hand, she's reading high schoolers do a mural a little bit. This hand. I just don't know what happened. Hands are tough, don't get me wrong. And I haven't painted in a while, but whomst? What? Again, whomst? Anyway, we're gonna give it a go. Honestly, this is so relieving because I work mostly digitally, and having just like a pen in my hand again is so nice. It's just like, oh, hello friend. I've missed you for a long time. Where have you gone? I'm gonna give the fingers some line art because I feel like they need it. We're getting there. We're getting there. Yeah. What would be really cute for the cuff of the sleeve is if we put a real button on it. I think that'll just add just a little bit more, you know what I mean? It was at this moment I realized I had spelled small apartment. Crisis averted. We have found the sea. The kerning on this is going to be a little whimsical, I think. That's okay. I don't want it to be perfect. I want it to be whimsical. I want it to feel like me, you know? Then, it was time to pin. While we're here on the floor, I just want to take a moment to do some affirmations before we sew this pashmina. So just get comfortable, sit in a place that makes you happy, feel the tension leaving your body, and repeat after me. I can sew silky fabric. Slippery fabrics do not scare me. It is morally correct to pin the ever-loving shit out of a pashmina. Those seams are supposed to be wonky. It's a style choice. I love myself more than the pashmina hates the sewing machine. Namaste. Okay, so it's all sewed. I've left a gap of a few inches on this side so that we can pull it all through. If it's looking good, then I will trim off all the excess. If it's not, I'll go back and resew it. Oh, I don't like that feeling. That feels like something just came loose. I mean, I don't mind having to re-glue stuff, but I'd really rather not. Please have worked. Please have worked. Cheesy, crazy, please have worked. Well, that's not on banner-like now, is it? Trim the edges. We'll give it a quick press, and then we'll see what's next. So we have two banners now. Practical and whimsical. They both, this works better for me. So we have practical and we have whimsical. They're both still missing a couple of things. And some really interesting stuff happened while I was sewing them. So I wanted to take a second and talk about it, because if you ever plan to make a banner like this, you may think to yourself, what kind of fabric should I use? And maybe you think like me, it'd be really great to go to the thrift store and grab like a pashmina. And while I wouldn't necessarily recommend against it, there's one important thing you gotta know if you decide you are gonna do that. And that is she wonky. Especially compared to the twill, she wonky. This hangs funny, especially after I top stitched it. Some of the glue also came off. And I can understand why. Essentially, I probably didn't worry about a grain at all when I was cutting the backing fabric. And I'm sure that the green fabric slid around considerably while I was working with it, and I probably warped whatever grain it had to begin with. And then on top of that, these have two different amounts of stretch in them, and so instead of treating them like two different pieces of fabric, what I think I would do next time is baste them together at the very beginning and treat them like one piece of fabric just from the get-go, and then I can do all the finishing and all I did to this. Because I didn't use the two pieces in the end. I just hemmed all of the sides and then added a slit for hanging pole. Now I didn't do that for this one because it just didn't really once I had it sewn and top stitched, it didn't feel like it really would work with it. Especially because we've got the odd hangings and droopiness. So I think instead of trying to worry about shoving a dowel through it, I think what we're gonna do is attach some loops to the back so that it's still gonna hang straight. So then I can just put the dowel through the loops of ribbon and hang that up. I think what that's gonna do is just give us more of the, What I think that's gonna do is give us more of that droopy, swooshy, whimsical vibe we're going for. So I'm gonna do a few finishing touches, add those ribbons, get the ears on the jackalope, and get some of the other details on practical. And then I think we've got banners. It is the morning of day 5. I tore into some command hooks and placed them a little above where I wanted the banners to go. Well, what a week it's been, hasn't it? I really didn't think this project was going to take a whole 4.5 days, and yet here we are. Just me and you and some banners. They're finally done. After getting some final details in order, I have got 2 finished banners. And you know, I think the details really make it. Sometimes you worry that it's gonna be real ugly or too plain or whatever when you're making something because you're focused on all the teeny tiny little details in the moment, but then you forget that it actually comes together into something good. So let's put them up, eh? And folks, don't be like me. Standing on your couch side arms is not recommended or Wimmis appropriate. Don't try what you see at home. I am certainly not a professional. This is YouTube, baby. So, we did it. I think it's safe to say I was capable, even if I wasn't perfect. I don't think perfect is really possible in most cases of the word, but I definitely learned something, and I think that's almost more important. For one thing, I learned you can make a banner out of a pashmina, but I also learned that if you're going to do something like this, pretend that your strength layer is just the same piece of fabric as your pashmina. Instead of sewing it right sides together, it's going to get you a crisper, I think more even look. But I'm okay with how it came out because it's the whimsical banner. It's supposed to be whimsical. With the other banner, I learned that felt and paint don't necessarily go together easily or quickly. And I learned that, you know, you can do it. Like, it's not that hard, even if you don't know what's going on. You can do it. This was my first attempt at anything like this. So I think I did okay, all things considering. I look forward to trying again in the future, knowing what I know now, and I'm glad that I did it. Coming up, I plan on making more for this channel. I really want to open up to more sewing stuff, share more of my favorite crafts, and try to take on things I've never done before. I put myself in the confident beginner category, but I'm excited to see what I come up with. And I hope you'll join me. Perhaps here. This will be really fun when I have more than just the one video, because then hopefully you'll be able to click on something in this general area. Maybe you're clicking on it now. I bet it'll be really cool. I got lots of weird ideas. I want to do so much. I want to do an eyeball jumper. I want to do vintage Daphne costumes like from Scooby-Doo. Anyways, thanks for watching my video, guys. Hashtag subscribe. I couldn't even get through it. Subscribe. For just a click, one click, you can get so many video. Right now, just one, but imagine the potential. Subscribe. If you invest your click today, you could have many clicks in the future. Subscribe.